Most books on meditation begin by promising peace, clarity, or some dramatic transformation of your inner world. But for the vast majority of us, mortals with noisy minds, endless responsibilities, and a natural resistance to sitting still, those promises often lead to frustration. Oliver Burkeman approaches meditation not as a quick fix, but as a way of being with life more honestly. He emphasizes that you don't need to meditate for hours or reach some advanced level of spiritual achievement. You only need to build a consistent habit of attention, something achievable in just a few minutes a day. Over 4 weeks, this book gently introduces core ideas and practices through short, approachable exercises, helping you develop a meditation practice that fits into real life. Week 1. The first week is all about setting the foundation by learning to just sit. Not to clear your mind, not to feel calm, but to simply observe what's happening, without judgment and without trying to change it. It begins with a 5-minute daily practice, which, for many, is already a challenge. The instruction is deceptively simple. Sit still, close your eyes, and pay attention to the feeling of your breath moving in and out. When your attention wanders, as it inevitably will, gently bring it back to the breath. Day by day, the goal is to get used to the ordinary discomfort of meditation, restlessness, boredom, racing thoughts, the urge to quit. Instead of resisting these feelings, you're encouraged to notice them and stay present. Burkeman reminds us that this is the real training, not becoming peaceful, but building the muscle of awareness. If your mind wanders 100 times and you bring it back 100 times, that's not failure. That is the practice. Midway through the week, the instruction subtly shifts to noticing thoughts as thoughts. You're asked to imagine them like clouds drifting across the sky or headlines scrolling across a news ticker. You don't need to follow them or engage. Just note, thinking is happening. This perspective helps dissolve the illusion that you are your thoughts. You're not failing when thoughts arise. You're succeeding when you notice them. By day 6 and 7, you begin to notice the difference between awareness and the content of awareness. There's a shift from doing to being. The instruction is not to force anything to happen, but to notice what's already happening: breath, body sensations, thoughts, even doubts, and let it all unfold. Meditation becomes a space not for self-improvement, but for radical honesty. In this first week, nothing dramatic needs to happen. That's the point. You're learning to let go of expectations, to stop striving for an ideal meditation experience, and to meet your real experience, moment by moment, with patience and kindness. Week 2. After a week of noticing just how wild and untamed your mind can be, Week 2 deepens the practice by shifting your relationship to thoughts and feelings. The emphasis now is less about the breath and more about awareness itself, awareness of whatever arises, be it emotions, body sensations, or mental chatter. The idea is not to control or suppress these experiences, but to get familiar with them, even when they're unpleasant or confusing. One of the first insights in this week is the realization that most of us spend our days being pulled around by the contents of our minds. A stray worry, an old memory, a future plan. These hijack our attention and dictate our mood. But in meditation, you begin to see that thoughts are just events in consciousness. You don't have to believe them or obey them. You don't even have to finish them. You can watch them arise and fall without getting swept away. This is where real freedom begins. The practice now becomes more open. Instead of focusing solely on the breath, you're invited to sit and let awareness expand to include whatever is most noticeable in the moment. Maybe it's a tightness in your chest, or a hum of anxiety, or the sound of traffic outside. All of it is welcome. The instruction is simple. Notice it, name it if you like, and let it be. This builds equanimity, the ability to be with whatever arises without reacting to it. A key teaching during this week is the concept of letting everything be just as it is. This can feel counterintuitive, especially for high achievers or people used to fixing problems. But meditation asks for something different. It's not about fixing, it's about seeing. When you stop trying to get rid of discomfort and simply observe it, something interesting happens. It often softens, loses its grip, or reveals deeper layers of meaning. Burkeman also gently introduces the idea that our minds often resist the present moment because it doesn't feel good enough. We're constantly scanning for threats, improvements, or ways to escape into distraction. Meditation helps illuminate this restlessness. The practice becomes an experiment in radical acceptance, not as a resignation, but as a stance of compassion. You begin to notice how often you're arguing with reality and how much easier life becomes when you stop doing that. By the end of the week, many begin to experience a subtle shift. The goal is not to feel better, but to get better at feeling, and that makes all the difference. Meditation isn't turning you into someone who never gets upset or distracted. It's turning you into someone who knows how to stay present through it all. That's a strength far more valuable than perfect calm. In these 7 days, the practice of sitting with yourself, exactly as you are, becomes a quiet act of rebellion against the noise and pressure of modern life. And perhaps, for the first time, you start to see your mind not as something to battle or fix, but as a companion you can understand and even befriend. Week 3. By this point, you've started to realize that meditation isn't about achieving some ideal mental state. It's about noticing what's here with more honesty and less resistance. Week 3 builds on this foundation by shifting more attention into the body and anchoring your awareness in direct physical experience. While earlier weeks focused on observing thoughts and emotions, this phase emphasizes embodiment, the practice of feeling your life as it unfolds through your body. Rather than seeing the body as a passive object you carry around, meditation now becomes a practice of fully inhabiting it. You might notice subtle vibrations in your hands, warmth in your chest, or tension in your jaw. These are not distractions, they are meditation. Burkeman encourages a curiosity-driven approach. Instead of trying to force your body into a relaxed state, you're asked to explore what's already present, even if it's uncomfortable. This week also introduces a gentle but powerful shift, the idea that the body is always in the present. Unlike the mind, which drifts into the past and future, the body only lives in now. So by resting your awareness in bodily sensations, your feet on the floor, your breath in your belly, the air on your skin, you begin to ground yourself in reality. This isn't an escape from thought, but a return to something more fundamental, your direct experience of being alive. A significant insight often arises here. Many people discover that they've been living from the neck up, disconnected from physicality, treating the body like a vehicle for the mind. But in meditation, the body becomes an ally. It tells you what's really going on. Fear might show up as a tight chest, shame as heat in the face, peace as a gentle openness in the belly. The more you learn to notice these signals, the more deeply you understand yourself. There's also an introduction this week to non-resistance to discomfort. For example, if your knee aches or your back feels stiff during meditation, the impulse might be to fidget or shift. But what happens if you simply sit with the discomfort for a moment, watching it, breathing into it, noticing how it changes? Often the pain reveals layers: fear of pain, a story about pain, a resistance to being with it. Staying with it gently and kindly begins to unravel those layers. Week 3 brings a new level of grounded awareness. It's not about achieving tranquility, it's about returning again and again to what your body is telling you right now. In a world that constantly demands you think, plan, and react, this practice becomes a sanctuary where you feel, sense, and simply be. It's a shift from living in your head to inhabiting your whole being. And in that shift, something beautiful happens. You begin to trust that you don't need to figure everything out. You can just experience it, one breath, one sensation, one moment at a time. Week 4. After 3 weeks of building awareness, working with thoughts, and settling into the body, this final week invites a deeper surrender. It's not about adding more effort, but rather releasing the effort that's no longer needed. The idea is simple, but not always easy. Let meditation become life itself. This week shifts the focus from doing to allowing, from technique to trust, from control to curiosity. By now, you've experienced how thoughts arise and pass without needing to control them. You've seen how sensations come and go in the body like weather. Now the invitation is to stop trying to manage or manipulate your experience, and instead, rest in the awareness that's already holding everything. This doesn't mean spacing out or becoming passive. It means sitting with a simple, open presence. Whatever arises, whether it's a memory, a physical itch, or a wave of sadness, is included in the practice. The point is no longer to follow the breath or label thoughts. The point is to be here, without needing things to be different. This level of practice is less structured, but more honest. It acknowledges that control is an illusion. You cannot force peace or demand joy or schedule insight, but you can make space for them by letting go of resistance. Letting go isn't about pushing something away. It's about giving up the struggle to force outcomes. Burkeman uses a powerful metaphor here. Imagine holding a tight fist all day, then slowly releasing your grip. That's what this week is, the release. It might feel strange or even vulnerable to loosen that grip on effort, but it opens the door to something deeper, intimacy with the present moment. Instead of chasing calm, you become calm by stopping the chase. One profound takeaway in this final stage is realizing that your life doesn't begin after the meditation bell rings. Your life is meditation. The same awareness you cultivate on the cushion follows you into conversations, meals, and walks. When you're brushing your teeth, you can feel the bristles, notice the rhythm of your hand, hear the swish of water. This ordinary moment becomes a gateway to extraordinary presence. And so, the real insight of week 4 isn't found in silence or stillness alone. It's in learning to bring presence into the noise, the mess, the joy, and the pain of everyday living. This is where meditation transcends the cushion and becomes a way of seeing, a way of relating, a way of being. It's not a task to master, it's a truth to return to, again and again. By the end of this journey, you may not have achieved perfect peace or eradicated all stress, but you will have touched a deeper kind of freedom, the kind that comes not from controlling life, but from being truly present for it. After 28 days of practice, the most surprising lesson may be this: meditation isn't about fixing yourself. It's not a self-improvement project, nor is it a path to becoming a different person. The real gift of meditation is learning to befriend yourself exactly as you are, in all your moods, your distractions, your fidgeting, your longing. It's about making peace with the chaos, not silencing it. Burkeman reminds us that if you ever felt like you weren't doing it right, that was part of the practice. The real power of these 4 weeks is not in achieving some advanced meditative state. It's in building a new relationship with yourself, one rooted in curiosity, compassion, and presence. It's in remembering that you don't need to escape your life to find peace. You just need to show up for it more fully. This isn't the end of the road. It's the beginning of a lifelong companionship with your breath, your mind, your life as it unfolds. Whether you continue to meditate every day or return when needed, the door is now open. You've experienced that spacious, steady place within you that can hold everything, the beauty and the mess, and that is enough. Thank you so much for listening and joining us. If you enjoyed this summary and found it valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth book breakdowns. Stay curious, keep learning, and we'll see you in the next video.